This is a normal busy weekday in a typical town in Fiji. Thousands of dollars are being earned and spent every day in towns and cities just like this. The 2012 budget was designed to put more money into the pockets of Fijians by lowering tariffs and personal taxes. The more money we have, the more money we spend, and that is what the 2012 budget is aiming to achieve. This is the nation's business, and the nation's business is your business.
They're like budgets, and every day that what affects our everyday life.
It's a budget supposed to help people, but other than that, I don't know.
What the budget?
Tell me just anything about the budget.
Oh no, I don't know.
And that's it. Many of us don't know about the budget, and nor do we care. Budgets do affect everybody. You can live on a farm or in the city, run a small business, or work and raise a family. No matter what you do, you will be affected by the budget.
The 2012 budget would reflect the government's fiscal policy stance or its strategies for 2012 as well as over the medium term. It is aligned to government's macroeconomic targets as set out in the roadmap and is aimed at achieving two objectives. One is to foster sustainable growth, and second, to ensure fiscal sustainability.
Over the years, we've continued to reduce the tax band, the customs band. Remember, in the past 16 years, is always the higher tariff band was higher 68%, 60%. Now, highest tariff band is 32%.
But what exactly are these tariff bans that Mr. Tikulevu is talking about?
Tariff band is, for Fiji at the moment is 4, 0, 3, 15, and 32. Right? So goods that are imported to Fiji are tagged at these rates. Some come in at 0. Government think that, for example, agricultural products for 2012, all will come in at 0%. Government tries to continue to encourage investors that come in to do agriculture, commercial farming, for example. Capital equipment for farming purposes only is coming in 0 from this year. So they come in at 0. Intermediate rates like tin fish, come in 15%. So those goods are taken 15%. Some food items, basically food items, they come at 15%. Protective rate is 32%. Things that are manufactured in Fiji, we take at a very high percent to protect the local industry. Yeah. Otherwise, our local manufacturers will be struggling in trying to compete with the imported products.
Reducing tariffs on big items like chassis for bus operators, machinery and specialized equipment for new mining projects, raw materials and fixtures for ship and boat building companies will result in huge savings for businesses of all sizes. And ultimately, the result will be more money in the pockets of Fijians. But the 2012 budget has also recognized grassroots groups. Tariffs have been removed from sports equipment and musical instruments, and it couldn't have come at a better time for some.
The government's decision to reduce import duty on sporting equipment is a great initiative in terms of the country's great need to develop our sport further. Every country that wants to develop sport at a high level needs to have good equipment available, readily available in the shops. For most of the sportsmen, especially in our sport, in table tennis, we are buying all our equipment offshore, which means that they are not readily available in the shops here. Hopefully the duty is going to come down on this one. Likewise, this is a piece of rubber that goes on one side. We got to actually stick it, and then we have to cut it to size on one side. And usually you have a black rubber on one side, and on the other side you have a red rubber. Now each of these rubbers could cost $30 to $50. Some rubbers are, for the higher level players, they are worth about $75 Australian a sheet. So hopefully that will come down as well. We have the beginner rackets, they're about $25, $30. They already got their rubbers on it. One side is red and one side is black. This is what we mainly use in the schools.
Yeah, I was checking on the prices of instrument yesterday. It comes up to 160,000 Australian, and due to this duty free and will be benefit from it.
Two important things that's very important in our country, Fiji, which we have a lot of natural talent. That is sportsmen and music, whether it's in choir singing or musicians or whatever. But it gives an opportunity for everybody to able to to have an instrument. And of course, when you have an instrument, whatever while you're performing, whether it's singing or whether in a band or a classical piece you want to do, it will enhance your whatever instrument you are playing. I say, this has been a very good thing, and I think the present government has done done a wonderful thing.
In total, my government has put more choice and more money back into the hands of Fijians.
So the Prime Minister presents the budget with announcements of changes in tariffs. But when do we start seeing those changes?
Any changes in tariff, the rate of duty, either going up or going down, becomes effective immediately. In fact, the night before, by 12 midnight, if the budget is announced tomorrow, 12 midnight tonight, our computer system has already been adjusted, taking into account what is going to be announced by the Minister of Finance. Yeah? It's always been like that, and it's a requirement of our legislation. The Customs Tariff Act, Section 4, states clearly that we must increase. The rate becomes effective immediately 12 midnight the night before. So 12 midnight tonight, it's already announced the budget tomorrow. So when the Minister announces, the rate is already been adjusted in our system. So whoever imports it, a new item by 9 o'clock in the same morning, will pay the new rate.
It certainly seemed like some items were priced according to regulation. Users of cigarettes and alcohol reported that the price of their purchases increased immediately. And legally, according to Mr. Tikulevu, that could have been as early as midnight the day the budget was read. It will take a little longer for prices to go down on other items.
Government has also provided a lot of incentives for the resource-based sectors, such as agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and manufacturing. They now attract zero duty on the imports of their machinery, as well as agricultural inputs such as fertilizers, seeds, and the like. For businesses in Vunulevu, raw materials now can come in at zero duty. And the investment allowance has also been extended to cover businesses in Vunulevu. In addition to that, there's been reduction in duty for special vehicles such as goods vehicles, as well as special type vehicles. While government is doing its bit to try and assist the private sector, at the same time it is committed to improving the livelihoods of ordinary Fijians.
We should be seeing the price of produce go down because of another concession the government made.
The fruits are by $60 one carton, $1.95, and orange is I buy $90 one carton, and this one pear I buy $85.
Yeah, because when the duty come down from January, then the price will go down. That's the only thing.
Fruits and vegetables. And I repeat, it's only fruits, vegetables that are not produced in Fiji. That's the one that has been reduced. And to be fair, I mean, those things are not manufactured here. Coming back to the point I mentioned earlier, people need to be healthy, which was announced. They need to consume a lot of vegetables and greens. They are not available here. Reduce the prices. These are not the ones that are produced in Fiji, like the cucumbers, the cabbages, and all that. So we're not touching that. We're just only touching apples and all that are produced here. The only challenge for us is to the sustainability of it, to ensure that we come up to the challenge and produce what is required in the domestic market. If we can produce our own vegetables and fruits, that will be a huge saving on our import bill as well. It will be good for us, fresh, rather than the imported ones. It should be good. And government is looking at that, hence the reduction in agriculture inputs, all fertilizer, pesticides or weedicides and things like that. It's all been reduced, as well as the machineries.
A reasonable amount of time is allowed for merchants to adjust their prices. But what happens if they don't?
In this situation, because the businesses are self-regulated, and some of these items which is given duty reduction during budget, the prices are not fixed. So in other words, it is left to the goodwill of the trader to ensure that the duty component is passed on to the consumer. But in reality, that doesn't happen.
What if the consumer sees that the price hasn't been lowered? Can they come to the Consumer Council for help?
The first complaint we received was on insurance, because there is a decision made by the government where all insurance company has to pass 20% levy to the government on third-party insurance claim. So here, and the Prime Minister made it very clear that this 20% levy does not mean that the insurance company can increase the premium. That was the golden rule.
The 2012 budget was generous to businesses and individuals. But money that will not be generated from taxes and tariffs has to come from somewhere else.
But it's important that we have a balance as well. We're giving away here, we must recoup from other means. We cannot just give away continuously. But this year is significant because there's a lot of giveaways to the private sector as well as individuals.
Raising tariffs on items like cigarettes, alcohol, MSG, and saturated fats like palm oil are not the only way for the government to recoup some of the money lost with the giveaways. It is also meant to reduce the use of these products that are contributing to the bad health of the nation.
Yeah, the rates is always high, but people continue to buy excise rates. It's always, most of the time we increase the rate of duty, of excise rates for sin goods, cigarettes and spirits. They become effective immediately, but people still buy. Although over the past years we note that consumption will continue to decline because it's affecting our collection. When the consumption declines, our excise collection from the companies concerned also decline consistently. We've been noting that for the past 5 years. I think it's also in line with the intention to continue to discourage consumption of that by our young people today. There's also a campaign by some sectors to continue to reduce consumption of cigarettes and so on.
I don't smoke, but yeah, when the prices go up, but people still buy cigarette. So yeah.
Well, I think it's a good idea to raise tariffs on alcohol and cigarettes, for example, because it allows it's a way of deterring people from purchasing, those products due to health reasons, and then it also allows them to prioritize their spending. You know, they could put that money towards something useful like education for their children. Or
I do care about the budget, but I didn't really read up on it. I only heard fleeting things about what was said in the media. But it was a good thing that they increased education. The budget in education, that was a good thing. It was a very good thing because I think last year it must have gone down a little. So it's a good thing that they increased the budget on education. That was one of the good points about the budget this year.
These reductions reduces the duty we collect. Yeah? So they reduce the money when we reduce duty from 5 to 0. But we've made sure that there's some compensating revenue measures implemented at the same time to try and compensate for that loss. Yeah? Whatever we lose this end, we try and recoup from another end. So by and large, we must make sure that there is a balancing act by us to ensure that we compensate for all the losses through duty reduction, reduce corporate tax rate, reduce POE rate. Yeah? All those has to be compensated in other means. So there were other new measures announced by government as well.
And some of those new measures are an extra 2% on your outstanding debt balance. Luxury cars will cost more. And if you travel, you'll be paying more for your departure tax. But all in all, in our little mini survey for this program, we found that people, for the most part, seem to be pretty happy.
The intention of government was very clear for the 2012 budget. They tried to reduce the rates, not only for companies, but for individuals. Last year, the rate was as high as, for individuals, as high as 31%. 31%, now 20%, so it's a big drop. And for companies, it dropped from 28% to 20%. So the rate has been aligned to assist individual, the workers, as well as companies. Of course, the message is to assist individual, take home pay, they spend more, it comes back, create activity, and comes back to us as tax collectors downstream. Companies, similarly, they can reinvest, they profit in Fiji, hopefully. They don't distribute and remit money to their parent company abroad, but reinvest in Fiji to take advantage of the concessions, particularly the corporate tax rate reduction. It's always, the corporate tax rate is always an important factor before one is considered to come to Fiji to invest. So that's a critical. So because of that, I think most of the individuals are quite happy and comfortable with what government has come up with for 2012.
So in the 2012 budget, you would see substantial increases in the budgetary provisions for the economic sector as well as the infrastructure sector. This includes the ministries of Fisheries, Forest, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Industry and Trade, Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources, as well as the Ministry of Works and Public Utilities. You would note, you will be able to see substantial increases in the budgetary provisions for these two sectors.
New budget has been helped a lot of people down here that buying fish and selling, they're rolling their family up. But we not yet go to that place. We're trying to look forward to go on next year in January for the new finance so we can run new business. Right, more bigger, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're doing the best that they can do. There's a lot of upgrades, like building bridges and wharves and dams like that. So I think they're trying their best to move forward and build the nation of Fiji.
Yeah, they've removed taxes for those who earn less than 15,000 or something. Yeah, that's very good that they did that. So that people are able to use their money on things like, because price of food and some food stuff have gone up, so they're able to instead use that money on buying necessary things like food. So it's a good. That was one good thing about the budget this year, that they removed taxes for those who earn less than 15 grand, I think.
It's gonna be different, for us and for them, and everybody can. I think everybody can afford it now. The people, they're going to save their money and buy the instrument. It's duty free. The money is not hard to, and the thing I want to say here too, because there's a lot of talent around there. They already want to play music, but there's no instrument. But with this duty free, it's a great big help for everybody.
It's just sad. I think over the years we've been neglected. I remember going back, I think 1970 something when I first, 79 I think, going up to many prime ministers and ministers over the years. They said, okay, we look into it, and nobody does anything until 2009. I don't think they're a musician the way they work, but we are, like I've said before, we are very thankful to the President government for what they've done, and we're not